Allo, allo, it's Nia. Welcome to AI Creator World Podcast, the place where creators learn how to grow faster, build smarter, and turn artificial intelligence into real opportunity. Here, we explore powerful AI tools, content strategies, personal branding systems, and new ways to create income in the digital era. If you are building something online, you are in the right place. Let's begin.
So imagine you're following this lifestyle creator, right? She posts these just flawless, sun-drenched travel vlogs from Kyoto.
Oh, I've seen those. They look amazing.
Right, and she's securing like $5,000 brand deals with major fashion labels.
That's the age.
She's flawlessly responding to comments in 3 different languages 24 hours a day.
Which is already superhuman.
Exactly. And then you discover she isn't human at all. She was generated on a laptop in a basement in Ohio in like less than an hour.
Yeah, the AI influencer boom. It's
Ugh.
everywhere now.
It really is. We've all seen them taking over our feeds. But today, for this deep dive, we aren't actually talking about how realistic their faces look or, how seamless their generated voices sound.
Right, because that visual aesthetic is really just the price of admission at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Today, we are exposing the invisible algorithmic machinery they use to basically hijack your feed.
Because the rendering quality, that gets you in the door. But the actual game being played behind the scenes is entirely structural.
It is, and I love diving into the mechanics of this stuff because we're unpacking this fascinating 2026 strategic report today. It breaks down the 3 best platforms for AI influencers, which are Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
And we're going to explore exactly how each of these algorithms actually evaluates content, right? Like what specific user behaviors they reward.
Yes, and how a single creator can build a compounding content machine without, burning out.
Because the central thesis of the source material we're looking at is that you have to stop treating social media platforms as simple distribution channels.
Right.
They are not like dumb pipes where you just pour your videos and hope for the best. You are making a growth architecture decision. You're building an entire ecosystem.
Reading through the report, it actually really made me think about opening a restaurant.
Oh, I like that. How so?
Well, choosing your platform is kind of like deciding the fundamental nature of your food establishment. Like, do you want to open a fast food drive-through? That's TikTok.
Right. Massive foot traffic.
Exactly. You get immediate foot traffic and this astonishing volume of people passing through, but your margins are incredibly low.
Yeah. A lot of volume. Very little payout per person.
Or do you want to run a highly visual fine dining spot where the aesthetics and the plating matter more than anything else? That's Instagram.
Oh, for sure. It's all about the look there.
And then, or maybe you want to build like a slow-cooked BBQ joint. It takes a lot longer to get the smoker going, and the line moves agonizingly slow at first.
But the flavor penetrates deeply.
Yes, and it keeps loyal customers coming back to spend real money for years, and that's YouTube.
That analogy holds up perfectly when you look at the underlying data. The mechanics of running a drive-through rely on speed and turnover.
Right.
Which is just fundamentally different from managing a fine dining service that relies on presentation and retention.
Absolutely.
If you try to run all 3 of those establishments with the exact same playbook, using the exact same staff on day 1, you just collapse.
And that leads us straight into, honestly, the most crucial warning from the report. Because before we get into how to win on these specific platforms, we have to talk about how to not lose on day 1.
The fatal flaw.
Yeah. The source material highlights one massive flaw that almost all new AI creators make. They call it the be everywhere trap.
Launching on all 3 platforms simultaneously is it's the single most common and arguably the most destructive mistake beginners make.
They just generate a video and blast it out.
Exactly. They immediately push it to TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube Shorts, all at the exact same moment.
I have to challenge this, though. Every internet marketing guru, every business podcast you listen to tells you to be everywhere.
Oh, I know. Cast a wide net.
Right. Cast a wide net. Maximize your surface area for luck. Get in front of as many eyeballs as possible. So why is this universally accepted advice actually a death sentence for a brand new AI influencer?
Well, traditional advice is based on human charisma. But algorithmic growth is based on concentrated data.
Okay, break that down.
These platforms are incredibly complex machine learning engines. When you open a brand new account, the algorithm has absolutely no idea who you are or who might like your content.
It's starting from zero.
Right. It desperately needs what the report calls a topic signal. It needs a dense, consistent cluster of viewer data to figure out your ideal audience.
So if you divide your production effort 3 ways right from the start, you're essentially starving the algorithm.
You're spreading your data so thin that no single algorithm gets enough information to confidently categorize you.
Wow, so you create zero compounding momentum anywhere.
Exactly. You need one algorithm to establish a baseline of trust in your content. You cannot build that trust if you're constantly context switching and diluting your audience across 3 separate ecosystems.
The golden rule here is totally non-negotiable then. Establish strong performance on one single platform before you even think about expanding.
Yep. One anchor.
So if casting a wide net is out, where should a highly visual AI influencer drop their first anchor? Let's walk into our fine dining restaurant, Instagram.
The aesthetic capital of the internet.
Exactly. The report makes it clear that the answer here lies in aesthetics and authority, but how does the Instagram algorithm actually evaluate that authority?
Instagram operates on a very distinct 2-stage test. When you post a new reel, the algorithm doesn't just, throw it to the masses.
What does it do first?
First, it shows your content to a small, curated slice of your existing followers. It's testing for something called engagement velocity.
Maybe velocity.
Right. It wants to know how fast do your core fans react to this.
It's kind of like a bouncer at a club, right?
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
Like Instagram's algorithm acts like a bouncer testing the crowd's reaction. It lets 10 of your most loyal fans into the room.
And if they cheer immediately,
Right, that high engagement velocity, then the bouncer opens the velvet rope and says, all right, let the strangers in.
that's stage 2, interest signal matching for non-followers.
But if your fans are quiet, the bouncer just shuts the door and the video basically dies in the room.
That bouncer analogy perfectly captures the gatekeeping mechanism. And this is precisely where AI creators have a massive structural advantage right out of the gate.
Because of the look.
Yes, the baseline visual quality of an AI-generated video, or even a still image, is inherently higher than the average human creator filming on a smartphone in, like, bad bedroom lighting.
Right. The AI is giving you perfect studio lighting, flawless color grading, and hyper crisp resolution every single time with zero extra effort.
And that visual premium translates directly into higher watch-through rates. When the algorithm tests that reel in the first stage, the sheer aesthetic quality stops the scroll.
Oh, so if an AI reel earns strong watch through in that first hour from the followers, the bouncer opens the rope.
Exactly. It secures that secondary distribution to non-followers. It's a structural advantage built into the highly visual nature of the platform.
But reels are really just the discovery engine here, right? Because the absolute secret weapon on Instagram, according to the 2026 data, isn't video at all.
Nope, it's carousels.
Carousels. The algorithm heavily prioritizes saves. And the math they provided in the report completely blew my mind.
It's pretty wild.
They state that a 2% save rate on a 5,000 follower account, which is literally just 100 people tapping the save button, triggers better algorithmic distribution than 100 likes.
Well, because a save is a profoundly stronger intent signal than a like.
Because a like is just passive.
Yeah, exactly. You tap it and keep scrolling, it barely registers in your memory. A save is an active declaration.
The user is telling the algorithm, this information is valuable enough that I need to retain it for future reference.
Exactly. They are essentially taking your content and placing it into their own personal digital filing cabinet.
The digital filing cabinet, I love that. A like is a friendly nod from across the room, but a save is someone saying, I'm putting this in my pocket to take home.
That's exactly it.
So imagine an AI character, let's call her Lexi. Lexi posts a hyper-polished 10-slide educational carousel breaking down, how to organize your digital life.
Right.
If AI can effortlessly generate these incredibly consistent, visually perfect slides without any variance in lighting or quality, doesn't that essentially mean AI influencers have a built-in cheat code for the Instagram algorithm?
It absolutely does. Visual consistency is incredibly tedious and difficult for human creators to maintain at scale.
It takes hours.
But an AI account can produce polished, character-illustrated slides endlessly. And when you structure those slides as a reference tool, giving the audience actionable, step-by-step value, It naturally earns those saves.
And then the algorithm sees that high density of saves and flags the account as high authority.
Exactly. And the craziest part is how fast the monetization happens.
Oh, right. You don't need millions of followers to make a living here.
Not at all. The report notes that nano-influencers can land lucrative brand deals at just 5,000 followers, provided they hit a 3.5 to 8% engagement rate.
And because the AI quality is so high, hitting that engagement target is remarkably attainable.
Instagram is unequivocally the strongest platform for prioritizing visual brand authority, acquiring a demographic that cares about aesthetics, and securing those early high-paying brand partnerships.
Okay, but let's pivot. What if you don't care about building a curated digital filing cabinet?
You just want eyeballs.
Right. What if you don't want the slow visual authority build and you just want massive eyeballs right this second?
Then you need a totally different algorithmic engine.
It's time to hit the drive-through. Let's talk about TikTok.
TikTok's distribution model turns the Instagram playbook completely upside down.
So no bouncer.
Remember the bouncer who only lets your followers test the content first? TikTok fires the bouncer.
Wow.
It distributes to non-followers from the very first post. An account with literally 0 followers can generate hundreds of thousands of views in 24 hours.
I mean, how is that even mathematically possible? The report calls it escalating pool stages, but how does that actually function in reality?
Okay, so when you post a video on TikTok, the algorithm drops it into a tiny test pool of users, maybe 200 or 300 people who have never seen you before.
Okay.
It monitors their microbehaviors. Are they swiping away after 1 second? Or are they staying?
And if they stay?
If your watch-through rate and your comment velocity hit a certain threshold, you graduate to a larger pool of a few thousand.
Oh, so it just keeps leveling up.
Exactly. Win there, and you hit tens of thousands. A strong post can reach 10 to 100 times your follower count simply by surviving each escalating pool.
For an AI character, that system is just a gold mine because the novelty signal is incredibly strong.
Oh, for sure. The striking visuals do really well there.
Right. If our AI character, Lexi, does a visually striking transformation or a highly specific, polished tutorial, hitting a fresh audience of non-followers works perfectly. It stops them in their tracks.
It plays right into the novelty they want.
But I want to pause here for a reality check, because if you are listening to this and thinking about quitting your job to churn out TikToks all day, hear this loud and clear. The 2026 monetization data for TikTok is brutal.
It is genuinely rough.
You need 10,000 followers just to get into their creator rewards program. And even then, the RPM, the revenue per thousand views, is literally pennies.
Yeah, the report says it's only 40 cents to $1 per thousand views.
Right. So if TikTok is paying literally pennies, why should an AI creator even bother fitting this machine if the payout is basically zero?
Well, you cannot look at TikTok as your primary bank account. If you rely on it to pay your rent, you will fail.
Okay.
You use TikTok as a rapid audience acquisition tool and an aggressive trend testing ground. The velocity of feedback is unparalleled.
Because you know within hours if a concept works.
Exactly. Furthermore, TikTok heavily rewards consistency. If you're batch producing and posting 5 to 7 times a week, you build a topic authority signal that elevates the baseline performance of every subsequent post.
So it's pure top-of-funnel marketing. You ride the trends, get the quick dopamine spikes of virality, and capture an audience quickly.
That's the game.
But I'm looking at this workflow, posting 7 times a week on TikTok, capturing massive attention, but making literally $1 a day. That pace is a recipe for extreme burnout.
Oh, absolute burnout. You can't sustain it.
The algorithm demands constant feeding, but the creator needs an asset that pays dividends while they sleep. I mean, you can't live at the drive-thru forever.
No, you definitely can't.
That's where the architecture has to shift towards search intent, which brings us to the slow-cooked BBQ, YouTube.
YouTube entirely alters the timeline of content decay.
How so?
Well, on TikTok, a video is effectively dead after 48 hours, right?
Yeah, it's gone from the feed.
But on YouTube, the value proposition is search intent and longevity. Content lives for months or even years because YouTube is powered by Google's search indexing.
So this is the long-term retirement fund of your entire growth architecture. But the two ecosystems seem completely disconnected. I mean, how do you actually get a fast-scrolling TikTok user over to YouTube?
The report outlines a very specific discovery funnel for this.
Okay, walk us through it.
First, you take those high-retention TikToks or Instagram Reels, and you repurpose them into YouTube Shorts.
Okay.
The goal of Shorts is purely to build your subscriber base.
Mm.
Then, once a viewer subscribes via a short, the platform starts pushing them your long-form content.
Like the 8 to 20-minute videos.
Right. In-depth AI tool tutorials or detailed growth case studies.
And this is where the monetization math completely flips in the creator's favor, doesn't it?
It flips dramatically. YouTube has a much higher barrier to entry. You need 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours just to turn monetization on.
But once you do,
The payout is massive.
Yeah.
Educational and tech RPMs on long-form YouTube range from $3 to well over $12 per thousand views.
let's really emphasize the striking math they provided in the report. Let's say an AI influencer generates 500,000 monthly views. On TikTok, that might buy you a nice dinner. On YouTube long form, that same creator makes roughly $10,000 more than they would on TikTok.
It's staggering.
$10,000. That is life-changing money just by optimizing for the right algorithmic engine.
The lifetime value of search-driven long-form content is unmatched. But there is a friction point,
It's that.
bridging the gap between short-form discovery and long-form retention.
That's exactly where I'm hung up. I have to push back on the user psychology here.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's one thing to watch a 15-second AI transformation on a YouTube short while you're like standing in line at the grocery store.
Sure.
How does the platform successfully bridge that gap? How do you trick a fast-scrolling viewer into sitting down for a 20-minute growth case study?
You aren't tricking them. You are capitalizing on a transition of intent.
A transition of intent.
Yeah. The short provides the novelty. It establishes the initial connection. The viewer thinks, oh, who is this?
But they don't watch the long-form video right then.
Exactly, they don't. But once they subscribe, the algorithm holds onto that data. Later, when that same user opens the YouTube homepage on their laptop or their smart TV, they are in a completely different mindset.
They've got time to kill.
Right. They're looking for a deeper commitment. And the algorithm surfaces a highly clickable long-form thumbnail at that exact moment.
So if the video promises a high-value payoff, like learning a specific skill or seeing behind the curtain of a case study,
The viewer makes an intentional choice to switch gears.
okay, so we've mapped the terrain. We have Instagram acting as the fine dining digital filing cabinet for visual authority and brand deals.
Yep.
We have TikTok as the drive-through escalating pools for rapid viral acquisition. And we have YouTube as the slow-cooked BBQ, utilizing search intent for long-term revenue.
That's the ecosystem.
But knowing how the engines work is basically useless if you don't know how to drive the car. How does a single creator actually run all three of these platforms without creating three separate, exhausting workflows?
This is where the report lays out a brilliant 90-day execution blueprint.
Oh, this part was fascinating.
It relies on a repurposing hierarchy. You don't make 3 different pieces of content. You build a multi-platform tool stack that does the heavy lifting for you.
But let's break down how this stack actually works. Because for anyone listening, just downloading 6 apps isn't really a strategy.
True.
The report specifically details using scheduling tools like Buffer, cross-platform analytics via Metricool, YouTube optimization with TubeBuddy, and crucially, CapCut to strip watermarks.
Yes, stripping the watermarks is non-negotiable
Why is stripping a tiny watermark so vital to this operation?
because algorithms are fiercely territorial. If the Instagram algorithm detects a tiny, bouncing TikTok watermark in your reel, it actively suppresses the reach of that video.
So it punishes you.
It essentially shadow bans the content
Yeah.
because it recognizes you are recycling a competitor's product. Using a tool like CapCut to strip the metadata and adjust the aspect ratios ensures the algorithm reads the content as native and original.
Wow. Okay, so let's walk through the actual timeline. Month 1 is the A/B test. You do not launch YouTube yet. You post 12 to 15 times on Instagram and 15 to 20 times on TikTok using the exact same core concepts. Then you step back and analyze the data.
And that data is crucial.
But what data are we actually looking at here? Because we already established likes don't matter.
You are looking at retention graphs. You want to see exactly where the audience swipes away.
Okay.
Are you losing 60% of your viewers at the 3-second mark? If so, your hook is failing.
So you let the raw data tell you where you belong.
Exactly. Let the data tell you if your character's content is better suited for Instagram's visual depth, where viewers save it, or TikTok's viral velocity, where viewers watch it on a loop.
Then we hit month 2. You pick the winner from month 1 as your primary platform. Let's say Lexi crushes it on Instagram. That's your primary.
But Instagram is your anchor.
Now you start staggering your posts to the secondary platform, TikTok, and you start funneling your top performing videos into YouTube Shorts.
You have to stagger them.
Right. The guide is incredibly specific here. It says you must stagger your cross-posting by 24 to 48 hours instead of just clicking publish everywhere at the exact same time.
Yes.
Why does a one-day delay actually matter to a machine?
It's a critical algorithmic nuance regarding duplicate content signals. If you publish the exact same video across multiple platforms simultaneously, the algorithms often flag it as spam.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't have thought of that.
More importantly, you need to gather pure early engagement data on your primary platform. If you dilute your audience's attention by having the video pop up everywhere at once, you muddy the data.
So staggering protects the signal.
Yes, staggering ensures the primary algorithm gets a clean, concentrated read on engagement velocity before the content exists anywhere else on the internet.
So you establish the primary, you feed the secondary a day later, and you funnel into Shorts. What does this mean for month 3?
This is when you introduce the heavy hitter, your first long-form YouTube video.
But the genius here is that you aren't starting from scratch and guessing what people want, right?
No, absolutely not. You compile this long-form video from the core concepts of your best-performing shorts.
You've essentially been using TikTok and Instagram to test the market for 2 months to see what topics resonate.
Exactly. And now you expand on the proven winners for the high RPM payout.
That makes so much sense.
By month 3, you have engineered a compounding ecosystem. Your primary platform is running at benchmark, securing authority. Your secondary platform is capturing overlapping, top-of-funnel audiences.
And YouTube is beginning to index your long-term, high-revenue assets.
And all of this is generated from one focused, weekly batch production session.
That's just incredible. So whether you are listening to this and actively launching an AI influencer this week, or you're simply trying to understand the underlying mechanics of the modern digital economy, the takeaway is crystal clear.
It's all about the architecture.
Success isn't just about making cool, realistic-looking content. It is about deeply matching your content to specific algorithmic signals. You need saves on Instagram. You need to survive escalating pools on TikTok. And you need search intent watch time on YouTube. Platform strategy is a quarterly optimization game. You have to constantly read the retention graphs and adjust the sales.
The deeper implication here is how incredibly systematic the creator economy has become.
It really is a science.
The visual aesthetics, the AI character, they are simply the creative expression. But the distribution, the actual growth, is pure engineering.
Which leaves me with one final lingering thought.
Oh, what's that?
There was a small detail in the source material regarding long-form YouTube formats. The guide suggests making a character concept series.
Oh, right, I saw that.
Basically detailing the creation and evolution of your AI character. And this raises a fascinating idea as we move deeper into 2026. If a creator is entirely transparent about how they built their AI.
Will audiences eventually become more emotionally invested in the behind-the-scenes lore?
Exactly. Will they care more about how the digital puppet operates than the actual lifestyle content the AI posts?
It suggests a profound shift in audience psychology. I mean, as AI generation becomes commonplace, the fascination might pivot away from the illusion itself and move entirely toward admiring the mastery of the illusionist.
Think back to our restaurant analogy. What if the most profitable part of the business isn't serving the food in the dining room, but selling tickets to watch the chef engineer the recipes in the kitchen?
That's a huge shift.
Will the making of the machine become more lucrative than the machine itself? It's definitely something to ponder as you scroll your feed today.
Thank you for listening to AI Creator World Podcast. If you found this episode valuable, make sure to follow the podcast, subscribe on YouTube, and share this episode with another creator who is building their future online. For deeper guides, AI tools, and step-by-step growth strategies, visit our website at aicreatorworld.net. And remember, in the age of artificial intelligence, creators who learn faster will lead the future. See you in the next episode. Bye!